at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Being happy, being free from any type of bondage that keeps you from loving yourself unconditionally.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Adam, a farmer. Previously, episode 1667 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been just 2 years, 1 month, 30 days and 13 hours, plus or minus a few minutes since we last recorded that conversation. That was then. And this is now. How are you doing today, Adam?
Today, I am fantastic with a capital F.
You said that the last time we spoke, didn't you?
Is that what I said?
I'm very sure of it, yeah. I think you said bold the F as well, yeah.
Yes, it's great. It's a great morning. I'm here in Chicago. It's about 30 degrees, gray skies. But it's that time of year. This is what we have to put up with in Chicago so that we can enjoy the fantastic summer months that we get.
Sounds good. The last time we spoke, wow, you were helping people transition from their jobs, right? There was the Profit Pathway podcast that was started in the midst of everything, right? And what else do I have here? Ooh, I remember your earliest childhood memory. Ouchie, right? Falling off of that skateboard. Oh my, how have things evolved for you today, Adam?
So there's been some evolution, right? Life experiences. And I have appreciation for every life experience that I have. As I get older, I will be 46 this year in March. And the last time we spoke, I was married. And I've been since divorced, and I've been refocusing in on a lot of the well-being that I had put aside for the last probably decade or so. So I'm focused now on spiritual, physical, and financial well-being, which isn't too much of a departure from the last time we talked. But I find myself helping less and less people, because what I learned in the process is I wasn't leading myself well. And so trying to help other people was getting in the way of what was most important, which is making sure that I'm aligned in all of the ways that I need to be aligned so that I can then go into the world as a whole human being, as opposed to being a fragmented or a disconnected human being. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I would love for you to share with us the signs and symptoms now that you're on the other side of this, for those who may have a few signs and or symptoms that line up with you. Please share that with us.
Yeah, so I'm a very spiritual person, a man of faith, and I've done a lot of work, Anjo. It's probably been 20 years now that I started upon this journey of personal growth and development. And one of the things that you'll find out is it doesn't matter whether you're looking at it from a spiritual perspective or a practical perspective. When you're asking questions about life, there are only two places that you can go for those answers. One is to the science side, and then the other is to the theological side. Now, one of the interesting things about me is I have a Bachelor of Science because I'm a computer scientist. So I have a degree in computer science, and I have a Master of Divinity. So unbeknownst to me at the time, I was just going through my process. But I now know how to integrate both sides, science and theology, to answer the big questions about life. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And all of those things. So signs that a lot of people experience, me being one of them, is this feeling of uneasiness, a feeling that you get deep down in your gut, what we call our gut or our instincts or our intuition, are telling us through our emotions that we're doing something other than what we should be doing, which is the most important thing, which is being the human that we came to this planet to be. And the societies that we live in, especially in America, we are trained to go and do things so that we can make quote unquote a living, right? Go to school to get a good job so that you can get have some benefits so that you can pay for these bills when you buy your house and your
Hmm.
car and clothes and all of those things. And so we grow up in an environment where we have split energy about what we should be doing, what we should be doing at our core, and then what we should be doing to make a living. And the older you get, the more disconnected people become.
Hmm.
And oftentimes, what I've seen and I've had it happen in my own experience is you get into this tailspin where eventually you're going to hit rock bottom, right? Um, in the theological world, uh, you'll say God is bringing you to the end of yourself,
Hmm.
right? Because everything in this world has been given to us as a gift, right? You know, my spiritual teacher, she says, Adam, when you put on your to-do list every day, because I'm one of those guys, I like to check boxes and stuff.
I as well.
So she'll say, is making the sunrise on your to-do list?
Hmm.
No, that's not your job. So the planet that we live in is perfect, right? It operates. We don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about the breath that I breathe. I don't have to think about my heartbeat. I don't have to think about any of these things that have been given to me as a gift. So really what I have to start resolving is what is the best way and the most efficient way for me to be happy as often as I can on a daily basis, happiness, and making sure that I have fun in the process because there are universal laws that govern this world that say whatever your vibrational output is, you're going to receive more of that back.
Hmm.
And so what we've been taught in America is to use our words, even if our words are different than the way we feel. And what happens is what comes back to us is more of the things that we feel. And if we don't know how we feel or we don't like the way we feel, and we don't really understand how the laws of the universe work, then we're going to then, right, go back to the same thing. We're going to find ourselves burnt out. We're going to find ourselves at the end of ourselves,
Hmm.
rock bottom, not knowing what to do. So I've had enough experiences for everybody.
How have your children been able to adjust to everything? I remember you said back then that your son, one of them was 12. So he's a
Yes.
teenager now, right? And
Yes.
yeah, oh,
Yes.
they're adjusting to everything.
Well, so my 12-year-old son is my biological son. The younger son was my son through marriage. So I was in the process of adopting him. And
Okay.
of course, since we got a divorce, that process never concluded.
Hmm.
So my biological son, who is now 14, he is adjusting well because his mother and I were married as well. So he's been through this before,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And so he he's good. He's in high school now. He's a freshman in high school. He's playing lacrosse. He has a social life. He has an athletic life. He has a academic life. So I'm not worried about him, not one bit, not
Hmm.
one bit.
Well, I appreciate you speaking to everyone that's listening from the perspective of where you are today. It's going to be interesting listening to your first conversation and then hearing yourself on the second conversation, and then possibly, a year from now, hearing where you're at. But more so, I love the authenticity of this is where I am and this is where it's motivational in the midst of your pain, right? It is both motivational and inspirational for those listening to understand that the human elements are something that can put us out of focus sometimes, and what it takes to get back into focus. So I appreciate you sharing that, my friend. In closing, though, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Your amazing audience. So check this out. So all of it is designed. We came here as human beings to be free, to be the humans that we were created to be. So in all of my experiences, Anju, one of the things that I've always known is freedom and love were my guiding principles. And because of that, every experience that I have in life is bringing me closer and closer to being free so that I can love more. And what I've learned over the last 2 years since we've talked is I wasn't loving myself enough. I wasn't loving myself unconditionally. And so that's what I've been on. 2019 was the entire journey of me learning to uncondition myself from all of the conditions that I had placed on my path, which a lot of those conditions were keeping me from being happy and having fun. And so at the end of the day, that's what it's about: being happy, being free from any type of bondage that keeps you from loving yourself unconditionally. So if your audience doesn't hear anything else, that is the journey to learning how to love yourself unconditionally.
Adam Farmer, folks, again, a pleasure I treasure. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.